Common problems that some students have had with this assignment include understanding the bibliographic entry, understanding how to summarize, and understanding some particular grammatical and word form issues. Let's take a look at the bibliographic entry issues first. When you write the abstract to the article I'm going to give you, you're going to put an APA citation of the article at the top of the page. And I want you to see how APA format has changed a little bit over the years, especially in the last 1 or 2 years. First of all, notice that the Stern and Solomon article here and the Ziv article both have a DOI. DOI is Digital Object Identifier. This is a convention that has been adopted by the APA organization in just the last year or two. It's a number or an identifier that is specific to this article. Now, notice that the Still and Winter articles do not have a DOI. Rather, they have a web page. The format here is that if an article has a DOI, when you look it up in a database, if a DOI is attributed to the article, you use the DOI. But if the article does not have a DOI, you would use the home page of the journal from which the article came. The Still article is from the Journal of Business and Technical Communication. The entry says retrieved from, and then the home page of that journal. The Winter, Neal, and Wainer article is from the Business Communication Quarterly. The home page is listed here, retrieved from such and such. If you have a DOI, cite it, but the article doesn't have a DOI, use the home page of the journal. Notice how the titles of the articles are identified here. Not every word in the title starts off with a capital letter. Only the first word. And words after colons. Effective faculty feedback. The only capitalized letter is E in effective. The road less traveled. The only capitalized letter is T in the. In the Winter article, student and instructor use of comments on business communication papers. The only letter capitalized is S. If you have a word in the title that is a proper noun, then of course you would capitalize it. But otherwise, only the first word in the article title is capitalized, or the first word after a colon. Another point to take note of is when you have more than one author. Stern L and Solomon A. The and is an ampersand and. Winter JK, Neal JC, and Wainer KK. The and is an ampersand and. First names are not used, only first initials. And sometimes middle initials. And it's always last name first. And of course, notice that the name of the journal is in italics. The number of the volume is in italics, but the number of the issue is not. The number of the issue is in parentheses and not in italics. So assessing writing is from journal number, volume number 11, issue number 1. Journal of Business and Technical Communication is volume number 20, issue number 4. Business Communication Quarterly, volume number 59, issue number 4, and of course the RELC Journal, volume 38, issue 1. Follow this convention. Lots of students will write VOL for volume and NUM for number, and they won't use italics, they won't use parentheses. That's not APA style. You want to use APA style here, as illustrated. The digital object identifier is described in this particular website from the APA organization. And just to give you a brief review, all content on the internet is prone to being removed, restructured, or deleted. In an attempt to resolve this problem, many scholarly publishers have begun assigning a digital object identifier to journal articles and other documents. It's a unique alphanumeric string assigned by a registration agency to identify content and provide a persistent link to its location on the internet. So this is why the APA organization has adopted the use of the DOI. Some problems when summarizing that students have had is the relevance of details and anecdotes, the order of the presentation, and the construction of a paragraph. Details should be used sparingly when you write a 250-word summary. And if you want to include details, the details should be about the evidence, maybe statistical information in the study, or the method of the study used. But don't get into too much detail about the research study or its conclusions. And in the ordering of information, notice that abstracts are formal. You would have a thesis or hypothesis at the beginning, an argument or evidence in the middle, and a conclusion at the end. Remember the one about the technical communication article and the use of Peirce's model, how they stated the problem first, the solution, and the theoretical framework they were using. And in constructing paragraphs, you may be tempted to write one-sentence paragraphs, and you may be tempted to write a one-page paragraph, but you don't want to do either. Strive for a happy medium. Write paragraphs that are coherent, unified, and maintain support, but make sure you break your paragraph when you're going to a new topic. In terms of grammar issues, I just want to point out 4 issues: the appositive phrase, the use of voice, the point of view, and the verb choice. Appositives are something like this: the authors, Anson and Sippel, argue that ... or the study, a qualitative analysis conducted at the Open University in the Netherlands, concludes that ... Notice that there's a comma after the word authors, and there's a comma after the word Sippel, because Anson and Sippel is an appositive phrase here, and Anson and Sippel identify who the authors are. If you're going to put a comma after authors, which you should, you got to put a comma after Sippel as well. If you're going to put a comma after the word study in the next bullet, you have to put a comma after Netherlands. The study, a qualitative analysis conducted at the Open University in the Netherlands, concludes that. So make sure that your appositive phrases are complete with commas before and after them. Make sure your voice is generally active voice. Don't write "it is explains that," but rather write "the authors explain." Use third-person point of view. Don't write "I think that the study reveals," or "you know that most studies say." You would write "a comparison of the 2 tests reveals." In other words, third-person point of view means you're not using I or we, and you're not using you. You're using the authors or the tests or whatever. In terms of verb choice, don't simply write "Smith says," "Jones says," "Robinson says." You want to pick a variety of verbs that show action and indicate some word variety. Smith explains, Johnson contends, the authors argue, Robinson notes, Jackson mentions, the authors articulate. These types of verbs, these are just 6 of many types of verbs you can use, and we'll talk about verb choice as the semester progresses. Academics use abstracts to reach a broad audience in a database, to offer a brief highlight of a problem and or methods of study and the solution proposed, to provide a quick glimpse of the study that they conducted. In your first writing assignment, you're going to write an abstract from an article that I will give you, and you're going to try to follow some of these conventions. Note that I will not grade the first draft. I will give you comments on the first draft, and you will write a revision of that first draft. So don't be too nervous about submitting the first draft of this assignment. It will not be graded. Thanks very much. I hope this has been helpful. See you in class.